They say every town has that one house, the one everyone avoids, the one that kids dare each other to enter on Halloween. In our town, that house was 216 Willow Creek Lane, and last October, I made the biggest mistake of my life. I went inside. It all started with my best friend Daniel. We'd been close since high school, and even after we both turned 30, we still hung out like kids. He had this obsession with urban legends, ghost stories, and everything paranormal. I was the skeptic in our duo, the one who laughed when Daniel brought out the Ouija board or whispered about the lady in the window at the old church. But the Willow Creek house, even I knew something was off about it. The story goes that back in 1984, a woman named Claire Whitmore lived there with her husband and baby daughter. One cold November night, something snapped. Neighbors said they heard screaming. When the cops showed up, they found Claire in the living room, humming a lullaby, her hands covered in blood. Her husband and daughter were gone, never found. Claire was committed to a psychiatric hospital and died 2 years later. But people swore they saw her at the window, still humming. Sometimes, they said, you could hear a baby crying inside, even though the place had been empty for decades. Of course, Daniel wanted to go in. I told him he was insane. He grinned. Come on, man. We film it, throw it up on YouTube. One night in the Willow house. Real reactions. If nothing happens, we laugh it off. If something does happen, viral. I should have said no, but I didn't. And now I live with that choice every single day. We picked a Saturday night. No full moon, no thunderstorms. Just a quiet fall evening, cool and still. The kind of night that whispers secrets. Daniel brought gear, flashlights, cameras, a GoPro for his chest. I brought whiskey and regret. The house looked worse up close. 2 stories of rotting wood, windows like dark eyes, the front porch slanted with age. The air smelled like mildew and old leaves. We pushed the door open. It creaked, of course. Every horror cliche in the book. Inside, the air was cold, way colder than outside. Dust covered everything. Old furniture sat like forgotten skeletons. There were children's drawings still taped to the fridge. And in the center of the living room, a baby crib. Empty. Daniel turned on his camera. Night 1, Willow House. We're doing this. We explored the downstairs first. Every step groaned under our weight. We joked, tried to keep the mood light, but the house didn't like that. I could feel it. The silence was thick, like it didn't want to be disturbed. Around 2 a.m., we decided to split up. Daniel upstairs, me downstairs. We had walkie-talkies like kids playing ghost hunters. I stayed in the kitchen sipping whiskey, watching the flickering flashlight on the table. Dude, Daniel's voice came through the walkie. I'm in the nursery. There's a photo here. It's her, Claire. She's holding the baby. They look normal, not murdery. I laughed more to calm myself. Just don't bring anything back with you. There was silence, then static, then Daniel's voice again, but softer, slower. Did, you just whisper something? I blinked. Number, I'm downstairs. Why? More static. She said, why did you leave me? My blood ran cold. Daniel, man, stop messing around. But the walkie crackled again. Not with Daniel's voice this time. A woman's voice, whispering, crying. I just wanted to keep them safe. I dropped the walkie and ran up the stairs. The hallway was dark. My flashlight flickered and died. I shouted his name. No answer. The nursery door was ajar. I pushed it open. Empty, except for the old photo on the floor, torn in half, and the crib, gently rocking, back and forth, back and forth. I spun around calling his name. No sign, no sound. Then from the room at the end of the hall, the master bedroom, I heard humming, software broken, a lullaby. I stepped inside. The smell hit me first, old perfume and something rotten beneath it. In the corner stood a tall mirror, cracked, and in the reflection, I saw her. A woman in a white dress, eyes sunken, mouth twisted in sorrow. She stood behind me, but when I turned around, nothing. I ran. I didn't care about the cameras, the whiskey, the proof. I bolted down the stairs, slipped on the dusty floor, slammed into the front door, and clawed it open. Outside, I gasped for air. My heart pounded like a war drum. I waited. 5 minutes. 10. No Daniel. I called 911. The police searched the house. No trace of him. No signs of struggle. They found the cameras. The footage? It was all corrupted. Static, white noise, occasional flashes of faces that weren't ours. They never found him. The town held a small vigil. Daniel's family buried an empty casket. Everyone said it was a tragic accident, a dumb stunt gone wrong. But I know the truth. Sometimes at night, my phone rings, block number. When I answer, silence, then a whisper. Don't leave me. I moved 3 states away. New apartment, new job. I don't talk about it anymore. But last week I woke up and found something on my nightstand. An old baby photo of Claire Whitmore and her daughter, and Daniel, standing in the background. He looked older, paler, and he was staring straight at me. If you're watching this and thinking about visiting a haunted house for fun, don't. Some places, remember, some spirits don't want visitors, and some don't let you leave. If you want more real horror stories that keep you up at night, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Because the next one might be closer than you think. Story number 2. It was supposed to be just another boring night, but something felt wrong the moment I stepped outside. The streetlights flickered, the air smelled like burnt metal, and somewhere, just at the edge of the dark, I thought I saw someone watching me. I shook it off. Maybe I was just tired from work. I had just moved to this quiet little town in Maine a few weeks ago. Everyone said it was safe, peaceful even. But tonight the streets were too empty, too silent. Not even the crickets dared to sing. As I walked down Maple Street, I heard soft footsteps behind me. I turned around fast. Nobody was there. My heart raced. Maybe I was just paranoid. Maybe. I picked up my pace, heading for the small apartment I rented. It was an old building, built in the 1920s, creaky and cold even on warm nights. I fumbled with my keys and rushed inside, locking the door behind me. Inside, everything looked normal. The dim light from my kitchen barely reached the living room. I tossed my bag on the couch and tried to laugh at myself. Get it together, I muttered. But then, the old floorboards creaked upstairs. I froze. I lived alone. The sound was soft at first, a careful step, then another. I held my breath, straining my ears. Maybe it was the old pipes. Old buildings make noises, right? Suddenly, the creaking stopped, right above my head. I grabbed the heaviest thing nearby, a rusty metal lamp, and crept toward the stairs. Each step I took felt louder than a gunshot. My heart pounded so hard it hurt. At the top of the stairs, the hallway stretched into darkness. The last door on the right was my bedroom, slightly open. I always closed it when I left. I whispered, "Hello? Is someone there?" No answer. I pushed the door open slowly. The room was empty. Moonlight spilled across the floor, catching something strange. Footprints, wet, muddy footprints, leading from my window to my bed. I wanted to scream but held it in. My window was locked from the inside when I left. How could anyone have gotten in? Then I saw it, under the bed, a pale hand slowly pulling back. I stumbled backward, dropping the lamp. It crashed loudly, the bulb bursting. In the sudden darkness, I heard a whisper. Soft, almost like a laugh. I bolted down the stairs, grabbing my phone from the table. No signal. Of course, small town problems. I ran to the front door. The lock jammed, refusing to turn. Behind me, I heard heavy, dragging steps coming down the stairs. Slow, patient. Desperate, I threw myself at the door. It swung open suddenly and I tumbled outside. The cool night air slapped me awake. I didn't stop to look back. I ran barefoot down the street, gasping for breath. Only when I reached the old gas station at the corner did I dare to look back. My apartment stood there, silent, innocent. No sign of anyone following me. The gas station attendant, a wiry old man, looked up from his newspaper and frowned. "You all right, kid?" he asked. I nodded, panting. "Someone in my apartment." He narrowed his eyes. "You staying at 142 Maple Street?" I nodded. He sighed deeply and folded his newspaper. "You ain't the first," he said. "That house ain't right. Always rented cheap. People don't stay long." I blinked at him. "What do you mean?" He leaned closer, lowering his voice. "Back in the 1950s, a family lived there. The father, he lost his mind, hurt his wife and little girl. They say their spirits never left. Folks who live there, they see things, hear things, sometimes worse." I stared at him, shivering in my thin t-shirt. "What should I do?" He shrugged. "If you're smart, you leave. Tonight. Don't even pack. Just go." But I didn't leave. I told myself it was just an old man's story. I went back in the morning, broad daylight. I thought it would be safe. The place looked normal, like nothing had happened. I packed my stuff fast, avoiding the bedroom. Every time I passed the staircase, though, I felt something, like cold fingers brushing my skin. When I slammed the front door for the last time, I heard it. A child's voice, faint and sorrowful. "Don't leave me." I ran. I left the town that same day, driving west without looking back. I never saw that apartment again. Never wanted to. But sometimes late at night when everything is quiet, I still hear soft footsteps behind me. Even though I live on the top floor now. And sometimes, I find muddy footprints by my bed. If you like this story and want to hear more real chilling tales, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.